Welcome in everyone, I'm Squishable Moon, your shooting star worm on a string enthusiast with a ranch addiction and fewer brain cells than the common garden snail, and welcome back to my channel. And today we are going to be talking about HQLQ. If you don't know what that means, it means high quality versus low quality. If you're anything like me, you've probably seen posts with the dops or artwork with the label HQ, LQ, or high quality versus low quality. And if you didn't know, there's been some talk around the meaning and if the term should be used in the art space in general. So, what does high quality versus low quality mean? Now, one way to see it is the skill level of the art. Is the art good at anatomy? Is the art good at coloring, shading, perspective? Does it have, little fuzzies all over the place? Is the line work wonky? Is it chicken scratch? Things like that. So someone may see a beginner artist as a low quality artist, while a more experienced artist that has more skill would be seen as a high quality artist. A lot of people in the community do not like using the term high quality versus low quality in this context because it feels like it's putting down people who would be on the end of lower quality. And who's to say what makes something high or low quality? You could think something's low quality just because you don't like the art style. Therefore, you could like something and call it high quality. There is so much room for debate on what makes something high quality versus low quality. It is really hard to say, but a lot of people like to think that it just means, are you more skilled or are you less skilled? Another way to look at high quality and low quality is the pixels on the art itself. Is it fuzzy? Is it blurred out? Has it been compressed 1,000 times on Facebook? Or is it crisp, clear, and perfectly rendered, perfect line art? It hasn't been compressed a bunch. It's not fuzzy. There isn't little white bits on the art. That's what people think that high quality and low quality is. That's the pixels of the art. I do like that one a lot. That one makes more sense to me. That is what I typically use it as because I send the high quality file through my email to people when they commission me. Which, by the way, just to let you know, I have a commission on VGen. I am a VGen artist now, tee-hee. Make sure to go commission me and make sure to commission art with me because I'll give you a discount if it's fan art. With that being said, I'm going to read off some of the discussion that was going on Facebook, so enjoy that now. So we are going to be taking a look at my Facebook. If you don't know, I accept people's friend requests on Facebook all the time. Yes, you are free to look me up and add me. I do not mind. But remember, you do have to be 18 plus in order to be friends with me. That's just how it is. And on my Facebook, I asked what makes art high quality versus low quality. I saw somebody ask about it and thought it make for an interesting video, and I think it does. I think talking about low quality versus high quality is an interesting video. And we are going to look at the comments that we have. So Hizen says, the perception of the viewer, nothing more, nothing less. I can't agree more with this. I really think that it really depends on the person buying the art, whether they view the art as high quality, low quality, or medium quality. Obviously, because beauty is in the eye of the beholder, somebody could look at my art and think it is absolutely hideous. I have really poor anatomy skills. I know that. I need to work on it. I just don't want to because it's hard and boring. But it is going to be the person who's buying the commission, their view whether or not it's low quality or high quality. I could look at somebody else's art and think it's not really a style I like, and automatically that makes it low quality. Mallory says, I would say skill level. Now, this is what I thought it meant. I thought high quality versus low quality just meant where you are on a skill level. Like if you have better art, like you have better anatomy skills, you're better at shading, you're just better at art, you've learned more skill. Not that you're better at art, but you've learned more skills as you've grown as an artist, and that would make it more high quality. Whereas maybe someone who just started art, or maybe someone who's younger, might have, less skill than someone who's more advanced than them. That could be considered lower quality art. Alia said, I know it's supposed to be skill level, but man, that seems like such a difficult thing to quantify. And I agree with this too. It is very hard to really distinguish what exactly is high quality, whether it is going to be the perception of art style or anatomy skill. It's really going to be what the person is looking for. Blair says, I actually don't really like the terms, and I think we should find a better way to describe rather than calling people's art lower quality. What I think people mean when they use this term is how well they're able to pull off the directions they make, or the decisions they make. Whether they use clean, smooth lines or sketchy lines, both can be high quality if they're used strongly in the context of the rest of the style, and they have a lot of practice honing the skills to make those decisions work. When it comes to intentions, you can generally tell when an artist has made a deliberate stylistic choice versus where wasn't intentional. When Limbo Lane draws uneven eyes, it feels deliberate and it works in the context of the style. Most likely that will still be part of their style in a few years, but you can also tell when someone's uneven eyes aren't part of the style, and it's something you can't expect them to improve within the next few years or days. Same goes for body proportions, anatomy, perspective, shading. Those factors are how I would personally divide art quality, but I think we should figure out another way to refer to what we're looking for in a way that doesn't discourage and put down artists who are still building those skills. And I definitely agree with this person is saying. A lot of people think that labeling yourself as high quality or low quality isn't necessarily a good thing, because it makes people who have what you would call lower quality art feel like their art isn't worth anything or it's not good. When that just isn't the case. All art is beautiful. There is always going to be someone out there who wants your art and actually wants to buy your art. You just have to find the right people for that. I don't typically like using the term low quality because low quality isn't really a thing. There's new art and then there's more experienced art. So I tend to be using more experienced as higher quality and new as lower quality, I suppose, because it doesn't make sense for somebody to call their art low quality. Who would actually go out of their way to call their art low quality unless they were, being mean to themselves? Your art isn't low quality. You are probably just a newer beginning artist, or you haven't learned the skills to be considered a quote unquote medium quality, high quality artist, but you'll get there someday. Jamie says, me and my friends used to use these terms to mean the actual quality of the image. For example, there is the high quality version that you see when you have created it on its respective program, crisp and clear. But when you upload it to Facebook or other sources, it compresses the file. It makes it a bit crunchier looking, which decreases the quality. After a few rounds of this being saving and re-uploading, the same image file continues to be compressed until it's difficult to see how crisp and clear the image used to be, such as the famous white pixels around an image and such. At that point, it would be considered low quality because the quality dropped so far below how it used to look. I find this definition is much better used when speaking of art. I really like this. Jamie puts this in a really good way. I also see high quality as meaning how good the pixels on the art is, because I like to work on a big canvas. I don't know if you follow me on Twitter, but I like to work on a large canvas. I work in the thousands because I want crisp, clear, super good lines and I just want it to look amazing. But when you put it on Facebook, it just crunchifies it until it's basically just crunchy bread and you can't see anything, and it takes all my details that I've worked so hard on out of it, and it really sucks. But I digress. This is a really good way to mean it. A lot of people think high quality or low quality just means what the image is. Like if the image is compressed, has fuzziness, or has crisp, clear lines, which I definitely like this version of high quality, low quality more. Heron thinks it's skill level, understanding light, perspective, color theory, composition, anatomy, and storytelling. Mel says, I hate the terms, they're straight up silly. First, because art is subjective and you can't label something low quality just because you think it doesn't look good compared to what you'd call high quality. Second, because, well, the amount of so-called high quality art I've seen around just because it's highly rendered but zero anatomy is sad. An amazing sketch artist being called low quality. There's also a thing where people automatically label anyone that's famous as a high quality artist. That's happened a lot with the Toy House Adopts design community. Now, I have seen this. There is definitely a stigma for, especially on Toy House. If you don't know, Toy House is a website where you can upload and sell characters. I like to use it to just keep all my characters in order and make sure I remember all their credit. This isn't 2010. I don't need to upload them to DeviantArt in the image store box thing and then forget all the credit in like a month and then just never be able to sell the characters again or selling them without credit. This is not that time. Toy House allows you to make sure there is credit for everything. I love it. I use it all the time. It doesn't have a lot of moderation, so keep that in mind. But I have definitely seen people label popular artists as just automatically higher quality because their designs or their art just sells a lot. So if you're popular, your art automatically becomes higher quality, which isn't fair to those who might even be at a higher skill level to them but have no followers. So like I said, it is really a perspective thing. Devota said there is no difference. Art is art and art is subjective, but saying art is low in quality or bad, we completely eliminate the idea of what art actually is and should have been all along. Nobody is better or inherently worse than another. We're all artists creating something with the same goal in mind, and that goal is either to release or provoke emotion. That is a really good response. Most people use it to refer to skill level, but that's silly to me. I can only see it as like quality of the image itself. Laura says, I absolutely say it's due to skill level. I say my work is medium quality. Another person thought it was the quality of the image. I guess it comes down to overall image quality, such as details, lighting, pixels, depth, shading, and everything about the piece. My memory sucks. There's someone on my list who used to go by the name Terrence Art, and they had extremely high quality art. Their name is Fallon Art now, and that's some high quality art. The skill level, it's out of this world. I think some people here are a bit confused. Low quality art refers to low skill level, same for mid and high. People are here confusing enjoyment of art with the quality. You can still enjoy a piece of art, but that does not mean its quality changes, so it still stays at low quality. I absolutely love the one Bart paint cake, but no one in hell is it high quality cake. I also love for beginner artists art, but I'm not going to lie to them and say that their art is high quality. It still doesn't mean that I don't love it. Okay, I see their opinion. So obviously you can like art and it doesn't mean it's going to be high quality or low quality. You can still enjoy art that is low quality, like beginner artists, but they're saying that it doesn't make their art high quality. I can totally see where they're coming from and what they're meaning behind their words, because just because something is really amazing and good to look at doesn't always mean that it's high quality. It's like the same as like a 2-year-old drawing you something, and just because you love it doesn't mean it's gonna be put in a museum. Though there are some art in museums that I think look like were drawn by a 2-year-old, and they're still there, so don't listen to me. I have no idea what I'm talking about. But yeah, a lot of people either think it is skill level based, or they think it is the actual art itself, the quality of the art and how many pixels it has. But there is definitely a couple of different things people see it as. It is hard to determine exactly what people think just because they are so divided on what the term means. With that being said, there seems to be a huge debate on what exactly it is and if it should be used. But tell me down below, do you think high quality should mean skill level, or should it be meant as a way to define if the file has been compressed a bunch or not? I want to know your views below, so make sure to comment and like and hit that bell. With that being said, I hope all your dreams come true. Bye bye.